All right, let's get right into it. If you run a cleaning business, you know the job inside and out. But what if I told you the biggest threat to your profit isn't a tough stain or a difficult client? It's actually hiding in plain sight, right inside your accounting software. Today, we're going to uncover that hidden threat and show you how to turn your books from a headache into your most powerful tool.
So let me introduce you to someone you might relate to. We'll call her Jessica. She runs a great cleaning company, Quickbooks-Cleaning. But every single week, she loses 6 hours. I mean, that's pretty much a full workday, just wrestling with manual financial admin. That's time she could be using for sales, or training her crew, or, actually growing the business. And it turns out, this lost time, it's just a symptom of a much, much bigger problem.
And trust me, Jessica is not alone. We hear this from owners all the time. The cleaning work itself, that's the easy part. It's the back end, the financial stuff, that just feels like total chaos. You've got recurring clients, one-time jobs, supply costs, payroll, and it all just gets dumped into one big messy bucket in QuickBooks. It creates this fog that makes it impossible to see what's really going on with your money.
Now here's the kicker. Those 6 hours a week, which, by the way, add up to over 30 grand a year in lost time, that's actually the least of her worries. The real danger here is something we call profitability blindness. It's when you literally can't see which parts of your business are making you money and which ones are secretly draining your bank account dry.
So let's put this to a quick test. Imagine you have 2 choices to grow your business. Option 1, focus on getting a bunch of new, steady, recurring clients. Option 2, go after those big-ticket, one-time deep cleaning jobs. On the surface, which one sounds like the smarter move?
Well, let's look at the actual numbers. Strategy A with the recurring clients brings in over $62,000 in new annual revenue. Not bad. Strategy B, the deep cleans, only brings in about $32,000. So you'd pick A, right? More revenue, better business. Well, wrong. When you actually dig into the profit margins, strategy B, with almost 50% less revenue, generates 12% more actual profit. Wild, right?
And that right there, that is the dangerous blind spot we're talking about. Without this kind of clarity, you could spend a whole year, maybe more, chasing the wrong strategy. You'd be working harder, thinking you're growing, but actually making less profit. All because your books couldn't tell you where the real money was being made. This is the kind of mistake that can totally stall a business.
So, how do we fix this? How do we get rid of that blind spot? Well, the solution doesn't start with some complicated, expensive new software. It starts with something much simpler, good old-fashioned structure. It's all about laying a clean, solid foundation inside the tools you're probably already using so you can finally see what's happening.
It all boils down to this 3-step foundation. First, you just restructure your chart of accounts to separate your recurring revenue from your one-time jobs. Easy enough. Second, you classify your customers so the system knows who's who. And third, you create specific service items that automatically put each job into the right revenue bucket. These are small tweaks, but believe me, they create massive, massive clarity.
Okay, once you have that solid structure in place, that's when you can unleash the real power of automation. This is where the magic happens. This is how you go from just having clear data to getting instant answers without doing any of the boring manual work.
So instead of spending hours buried in a spreadsheet, you get a report that looks just like this instantly. It breaks everything down so clearly, exactly how much money came from recurring versus one-time clients, the number of jobs for each, even the average value. This isn't just a bunch of numbers. It's a simple, clear story about how your business is actually performing. And you can see it at a glance. A simple chart like this tells you that, hey, 70% of your business is built on that solid, recurring foundation, while 30% is more opportunistic, one-time work. And now you can start asking the right questions. Is this the mix we want? Should we aim for 80-20, or maybe 60-40? You see, you can't even begin to ask those strategic questions without this kind of clarity. But honestly, it goes so much deeper than that. Automation unlocks insights you'd never have the time to find on your own. You can suddenly see which of your crews are the most efficient, who's generating the most revenue per hour. And even more powerful, you can get automatic alerts for at-risk clients. Customers who've started skipping cleanings and might be about to cancel. This gives you a chance to step in and save that relationship.
Okay, so what does all this clarity, all this automation actually mean for your bottom line? Let's talk about the real tangible payoff, because this is where it gets really exciting.
First off, the time. Remember those 6 hours of manual admin every single week? Gone.
Poof! Replaced by a quick 10-minute review. If you value your time at, say, a conservative $100 an hour, that's over $31,000 a year in time that you get back to focus on what really moves the needle. Next up, the revenue you actually save. Those automated at-risk client alerts we just talked about, by flagging those customers before they churn, a typical cleaning business can hold on to an average of over $6,000 in annual revenue. That's money that otherwise would have just walked right out the door without you even noticing.
And when you put it all together, the time you save, the revenue you keep, and your new ability to make way smarter decisions, and you weigh that against the small cost of the automation tools, the return on investment is just staggering. We are talking about an ROI of over 1,000%. This isn't an expense. It's probably one of the most profitable investments you could ever make in your own business.
So look, at the end of the day, your books are telling a story. Right now, it might be a confusing one, a story full of chaos and blind spots. But with the right structure and the right automation, that story becomes a roadmap, a clear path to higher profits and smarter growth. So the only question left to ask is, what hidden profits are just waiting to be discovered in your business?